We welcome you once again to another edition of our Matter of Concern program. And in today's edition, we are going to feature Obinna Ibe, who is a political consultant and former SA to Senate Committee Chairman on Navy. He's also a member of Imo Labour Party Task Force. Sir, you are welcome to our program.
Welcome, viewers. Thank you very much for giving us your time.
My name is Afam Echi. Please remember to give up thumbs up on our program and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for coming again.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you.
So let me ask you, there was a time so much hope was hinged on Labour Party to produce a candidate because Imo people feel, if you feel their pulse, that there is need for a change in Imo State. And such hopes were dashed because the crisis in Labour Party enveloped, swallowed that expectation. And as it appears, 4 candidates emerged from the April 15th Guba primaries. Now, what is it as a stakeholder in Labour Party? Can you give us an insight into the crisis and efforts to resolve it?
I wouldn't want you to use the language crisis. In every political struggle, people have their different views and have their different opinions. I would rather say that these things are the things that happen in the party. However,
no, I would not describe it as a crisis for a party, a young party like Labour Party, within such a short period, and in Imo State for that matter, producing 4 candidates in their primaries. It should be a crisis of a monumental proportion.
Yeah, Labour Party is the attraction of all. You mentioned it from the onset that because of Obit's person and what he has come to be seen as in Nigeria, wherever Labour Party is mentioned, you will expect such a struggle. Okay. However, there is a reprieve in sight because the court will determine the authentic Imo Labour Party governorship candidates. The story is that immediately after the presidential election and 4 days to the governorship election, the national chairman, David Abure, unilaterally dissolved the state working committee of the party in Imo State and then appointed a caretaker committee. The state working committee was headed by Dr. Ambrose Onyekwere. Then, after the dissolution, the national chairman appointed FBI Onyepolisi, and it all happened that Ambrose Onyekwere-led group felt shortchanged and went to court to seek justice. Okay. And a court of competent jurisdiction ordered that status quo be maintained. However, within this range of time, the national chairman discovered or knew that it was a mistake from his own side. Okay. And within a space of 1 week, he appointed another committee, naming them steering committee. People in Labour Party said it was going to be legally bad to use such a name. So he transited to another name, management committee, headed by Prof. Awuzie. And gave them the same mandate he gave to the caretaker to organize the party, conduct the delegate election, as well as conduct the primary. However, because of the status quo in place, the party was in confusion. And that was what led to having the 4 primary elections. One by Ikenga Joseph Ukebu, led by Lamidi Apapa Group. You know the story of Lamidi Apapa and Labour Party. Okay. The second one altogether, led by FBI Onyepolisi, that produced Basil Madoka. And the management committee, led by Professor Anwuzie, produced Senator Atana Achonu. The state working committee, who claims that they are the legal entity who have that have the right to conduct the primaries, to produce Ike C. Ibe. So that is where we are. And that is how the Labour Party got to having 4 different candidates of the party.
Now, let me take you on the issue of status quo, because when you say status quo, I am aware that one of the 4 groups you mentioned, especially the FBI group, the state ESCO, you know, is also claiming status quo, because according to them, one, in the first place, they said they were given a mandate. The letter that appointed them gave them a mandate to conduct the primary election, and that their interpretation of status quo is whatever is subsisting at the time there was an issue, that everybody should maintain it. So if you are claiming status quo and they are claiming status quo, now who do we believe?
Well, it is not for the defendant or the plaintiff. In fact, it is not for the defendant especially to claim status quo. It will be the matter of the court to determine. However, I think we will leave it to court. It is not within our powers to do that, but the court will do that.
Yeah, in your comment, when you started, you said Imo people should not bother, that there is a reprieve. So what is the reprieve that you have in mind that is going to give them the healing they require?
The truth remains that because the court gave the orders that status quo be maintained, that nullifies any other primary election conducted by anybody. The law states it clearly in the party constitution of Labour that it is the state working committee that have the powers to conduct a gubernatorial election. And because of that, the state working committee conducted their own primary election on that 15th of April. The same day the other 3 or 4 other 3 groups conducted their own, and nominated Ikesi Ibe. And I think that Ikesi Ibe has a reputation for being competent, and he has integrity, and he's a known name.
Yeah, I will come to you on the Ikesi Ibe you mentioned. Now, what you are saying now, if I get you right, is that the Labour Party at the national level has no hands anymore in determining who governs Imo State. Because I'm asking this question because there was a time we saw a release purportedly from the national headquarters saying that the nomination or the election of Atan, rather the election of Atan, should no longer stand. That the person who came close to him, that is the Major General Ogunewe, is going to take his position. But after that statement, we have not had anything again. And then this other issue you are now talking about.
That primary that was led or held by Professor Anwizie, by virtue of the status quo order by a court of competent judiciary, is not legal. You are contravening the orders of the court. So even when you say the party so decides that first, second, or third will be presented as their own candidate, it cannot stand.
Because
it cannot stand because there is an order already, a subsisting court order saying status quo. If that thing is not determined, and if any of those who classify themselves as status quo conducted the primaries, and the court says these are the status quo we are talking about, then we wouldn't be talking about the one that produced the management committee.
Okay, so you are talking about Ikesi Ibe. Now, what do we know about him? What can you tell us about him? And interestingly too, he has not been in the picture after he's been silent, he's been quiet. Does it mean he is operating from behind the scene? Or because he's not talking about, for most of his admirers, they think he has gone to bed and rested the matter. So
Ikesi Ibe is a lawyer, and he understands the rule that is obtainable in courts and orders of courts. Right at the moment, he took a giant stride to save the party. You know, one cannot rule out the fact that if any person emerges from Labour Party at the end of the election, somebody can go and torpedo all the efforts of the Labour Party and people in Imo. So Ike took a bold step and went to the Federal High Court for the Federal High Court to determine the authentic, the real candidates of the Labour Party in Imo State based on the 15 April 2023 election. So one wouldn't expect Ike to begin to talk or begin to shout until the matter is determined in court. That is...
and you are very optimistic he's going to have the day.
Invariably.
If the law
we are not going to... We will align ourselves to the position of the law, but based on what the human mind can fathom, he's going to fly the flag.
Okay. Now he has... in 2019, he also ran under APGA, and then it was also enveloped by a crisis in the party at that time. And this time around, he also came out again. And so what is it that you think he wants to do for Imo people that is making him want to run to govern Imo State?
Well, I would rather tell you that when you want to assess somebody, his capability or his capacity, you start from his background. First of all, you know, Ike is a product of the Sam Mbakwe. One would go back to say that at 25, in Obo, that it was the wish of our father, Chief Sam Mbakwe, that Ike represents his own constituency, which led to him becoming the speaker at that particular time. We know our elders and our heroes. They identify those who have sterling qualities of leadership. And at 25 years, managed the House of Assembly in Imo State in the midst of giants. And beyond that, he is a man that has very, very laudable academic qualification. He has helped Imo State in different ways. In fact, one of the first international financial support Imo State got, I mean, Ike facilitated it during the time of Udenwa. As a matter of fact, it was, one would say he was the choice of the Udenwa administration when he was leaving. But you know, politics is not what you can control or determine. God's time is the best. So Ike has consistently, in fact, one considers him as the hope of the young, the choice of the old, and the delight of all in Imo State. Amiable person, human. And this is the caliber of person we need here in Imo State to calm down the situation and provide a developmental stride for Ndimo. That's the little I can tell about him until the time for campaign. Then we'll say more about him.
Okay. Now, the task force to which we were a member some time ago, and can you give us an insight into the task force and what you were able to do at that point?
You know, the Imo Labour Party was reading with crisis at a particular pre-presidential election. And a body of stakeholders, people of you know, quality character, came together and played an advisory role. The task force, apart from advising the state's working committee led by Dr. Ambrose Onyekwere, also went to market, contributed funds internally, and enabled several campaigns in Imo. So it is a body of seasoned politicians, well-meaning Imo State sons and daughters who came together to say, we must get it right this time around. So that is a little summary of the task force, of Imo Labour Task Force, in the whole of this, in our movements to ensure or to enthrone good governance and true democracy.
Okay, let's discuss an issue outside the Labour Party. Yesterday, the Vice President came here to commission the dredging of Oraisi River, and there is so much hype on that project, and people are happy. You know, the government is given a lot of expectations. So what are your thoughts about the project and what it holds for Ndi Imo?
A very laudable project. In fact, one of the best federal attention we will get here in Imo State. If the government, or whichever government, has a will and follow it up. Let me tell you, I knew about this a long time ago when I was the SA to Senate Committee Chairman on Navy.
Okay.
Senator Chris Anyanwu came in with the top brass of the Navy down to Imo State to ensure that that project was established. However, he didn't succeed at that particular time, but good enough. The present government did what they could do. And you can see she made a speech there yesterday to buttress what I'm telling you, that it was based on the fact that it was a very good idea she thought about and worked it out this time around. And then the present government is a laudable project. It's a very good one, a positive one.
Okay, so the project had long been conceived.
Yes, it's been conceived a long time.
So it's a government being a continuum.
That is it. That is it. That is it. That is it. Yeah. It's going to boost economic and commercial activities when it comes to completion. Okay. With the Navy around that place, reasonable security will be in that neighborhood, because you know right now the place is not too good for security. So I think it's a very laudable, it's an interesting one. Give it to the governor, he will take it away from him. But the most important thing is, you know, sustaining it, ability to accomplish or complete the project and let it be running. Government is a continuum. It must not be him. The most important thing is for whoever, if it's him to continue or whoever, the person will understand or should understand that it's a very, very important project that will enable Imo State to get to another level.
It's okay. So what do you have to tell Imo people about your Labour Party?
Be hopeful, Ndi Imo. Be hopeful. The end is in sight. You will have a very competent, a very good candidate of your choice, of your like, but they will leave it to the court to determine. As it is today, no person has absolute claim to that particular position except at the determination of the court. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to our program. Viewers, this is where we draw the curtain. Our guest has given hope that nothing will happen in the Labour Party except the court determines who should be the standard bearer. And he has also acknowledged and commended the dredging project of Orashi River and giving thumbs up to the governor. I hope the government will drive this project so that the benefits would actually trickle down to everybody. And on that note, we round off this program and say, please remember to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube platform. My name again is Afan Echi.